Hey there, fellow adult collectors. Welcome back. David Eon here with another modern unboxing, this time opening up the Golden Dog 1/12 scale action figure from the Damtoys Death Gas Station series. And this came in, I got this one from Big Bad Toy Store. It was part of a pre-order, and I've unboxed a previous Death Gas Station figure, and that is Old Bone, who you see sitting in the background there, just kind of hanging out. And I'm going to try to be optimistic about it, because when I did the unboxing for Old Bone, for those of you who remember, I was not very pleased with it. I like the way he looks overall, but he felt cheap. He felt like he was made out of low quality materials, even the packaging, which I'm finding here also. This is like a cereal box. The entire package is less than 8 ounces, which I found with Old Bone also. It was a very, very light package, but we're going to go ahead and start opening this up. And again, I'm going to try to be optimistic and give it the benefit of the doubt. And if you're wondering why I went ahead and pre-ordered this after being dissatisfied with the previous Damtoys figure, essentially it's because they were both pre-orders, and the pre-orders were in before I received the first figure, or else I probably would not have ordered this one with how I felt about the Old Bone. And I know there's a lot of people out there that speculate. Here's the booklet, and I'll show you all what's in here. There's a lot of people who sit there and speculate about it, that, oh, well, you know, you have to soak in water and you have to run a hair dryer on it, and they have all this stuff that they tell you that you're supposed to do with your figure. And I'm like, you know, for what we spend, this is a vinyl Ziploc bag, kind of like what Mezco does. For what you spend on these, you should not have to run a hair dryer or loosen joints or lubricate anything or soak anything or microwave anything or anything else. This is a sticker. I don't think you should have to do any of that. I think you should get quality. When you pay for quality, you should get quality. And yeah, this is just like a little sort of a comic book. I'll let you look at that real quick. That if you're paying that much, you should get the most out of it. There's nothing on the back. And to me, the overall materials are a big part of that overall quality. How is it constructed? Is it super fragile or is it sturdy? Things like that. Are the materials cheap, or are the materials well constructed? Is he easy to pose? Those things matter to me. Actually, I did a whole video on that subject. So here he is, loose. And again, he looks decent enough, but I have not yet handled this. And for me, that's what counts. How he looks is only part of it, where I'm concerned. Take it for what it's worth. So let's go ahead and unpackage all of this, and then we'll take a closer look at him. And here we are back with our fully unpackaged Golden Dog from the Damtoys Death Gas Station series, next to Old Bone for size comparison. And you can see that Old Bone is quite a bit taller. Not necessarily taller so much as that Golden Dog is that much shorter. And I'll show you here. He measures in it just a hair under 5.5 inches. So for a 12th scale figure, he's a bit on the short side. So we'll move Old Bone back out of the way. We'll take a close-up look at Golden Dog for detail. And then we'll take a close look at the accessories. And again, I like the overall look and detail. Where I had a problem with Old Bone, primarily, was in his construction. I felt like his construction was inferior. got long arms. And they have a third figure. Actually, it's a figure 2-pack that's part of this series that had been announced just recently. I showed it on one of our weekly roundups. And I believe his head is supposed to be interchangeable with the dog that he comes with. Real pockets, it looks like. Again, good detail, especially on the clothing, but we saw that with Old Bone as well. And the first figure in this series I don't have. I did not get the first figure in this series. Oops. Hold still. So we'll go ahead and take a close-up look at some of the accessories, or all of the accessories as the case may be. And then we'll take a close-up look at the figure, test his articulation, see how he feels, and all of that. So let's go ahead and spin this around and see what we have. First and foremost, we've got a set of replacement wrist joints. That's what's in this little pouch. 2 wrists, which it never ceases to amaze me, and Mezco does the same thing. Rather than fix whatever the problem is with the wrists, because Mezco is famous for that too, broken wrists on figures. Wrists and knees break a lot on Mezcos. Rather than fix it, they just supply you with an extra couple of wrists. This piece, which honestly, I am not sure what this is. I don't know what that is or where it's supposed to go. Maybe it sticks into one of their mouths like they're talking. I had already checked, and this hole is too small to fit inside the pistol. Next up is the leash, which feels completely vinyl. It's a vinyl leash. It does have what appears to be a metal buckle. If I can get it into proper focus there. There we go. Metal buckle, it looks like. Feels like. It could be plastic. It's hard to tell because it's so thin. Two pistols. They are identical. There is no articulation to them whatsoever. The slides do not work. There are no magazines to put in and out like you might see on a pistol from Mezco. They didn't bother. And there is a hole in the end of each of these. And the holes are for these. So he can be like the Joker from Batman. And it should go right in there. Like that. But again, that pink thing, whatever it is, it doesn't fit. He has a set of military style dog tags. This is metal. It does have a functional clip up here. There is nothing printed on the badge. It's just flat. There's nothing there, if you were wondering. A series of hands. 2 fists. And you'll notice that they are 2 different colors, but all of the hands are like this, where the right hand is lighter than the left one. So it's consistent. And I guess that's supposed to be, is that for the pistols? Or is it to put the leash through, perhaps? because the handle of the pistol looks too thick for those openings. Two, I'm assuming, gripping hands. And again, I'm having a focus issue here. Two gripping hands. See how small that plug is? That always concerns me. A rather realistic looking hot dog. It's a decent looking hot dog, I'll give him that. Except for the split, but you know, otherwise, you wouldn't know the difference. That's a good looking hot dog. And then this dog. This is all plastic. This is the dog that he comes with. It is articulated slightly. It kind of reminds me of like a Playmobil sort of animal, the way that it's jointed. It is very top heavy. I actually had to spread it out quite a bit to get him to stand properly to begin with. And there you see the head pops off right there. That is a small joint thing right there. I believe it should be interchangeable with Golden Dog's head on the body. But now we're going to go ahead and pull him off and bring him up close and test his articulation here. First of all, his mouth does open, if you want to call that opening his mouth. Basically, it just sort of hinges like this. And oh, it does turn. I thought it wasn't going to turn. So there is a functional neck joint, and then the head just kind of gets weird like that. That's an odd thing. It's very strange, actually. But the head does operate independently from that. It feels really awkward, though. It feels really awkward. And, you know, when you move it around, this part keeps wanting to open, and it makes me fear that I might damage it. Arms up and down. The shoulders are actually very fluid. Elbow joints, double jointed elbows, good movement there. The hands are gigantic in comparison. You see how they're hinged on. See how gigantic the wrist joints are, or rather how gigantic the hands are in comparison to those wrists. They're so thin. Ab crunch, that's actually pretty good, or maybe not, because when I did the ab crunch, he just completely disjointed. He separated. The torso came apart. Does it open up? We're about to find out here. Let's take a look at the torso. Yeah, that came right out. So, all right, it went back in. So I guess, and there, I'll give you another good look at the body there. Close this back up. It is Velcro. I guess that's about as far as he's going to go for an ab crunch before he just pops out. Back about the same. Waist turning, limited somewhat by the outfit. Split, and his legs are very short. Good splits. Good forward, not very much going backwards. Double jointed knee. Ankle articulation only. No articulation at the calf. As a matter of fact, he doesn't even have a calf. Look at this. Look how thin that is. Which again is part of my complaint with the other figure. It says Park on the bottom. The shoes look very weathered. It's really just kind of a ball joint that's floating around in there. And again, looks very fragile, which has been a major concern of mine with these figures the entire time, is just the fragility of them. That I feel like I'm going to break them whenever I do anything with them. Functional pockets, you can put his hot dog in there if you want to. Functional belt loops with no belt. I imagine you could put the leash through there if you wanted to. We'll try a hand change out. And wow, that just practically fell out. How about this one? Yeah, look at that. It's just kind of a, there's no locking mechanism. It just plugs in and out like that. But then how do you get this hand out? There we go. That wasn't easy. That wasn't easy. So we'll try putting this one in, maybe. Oh my goodness. Notice also that the arm is very, very thin. All right. That wasn't too bad. All right, pistol's in his hand. So that's how that works. Head change out, do I dare try? There we go. Did not want to come off easily. This head came off easy enough. Maybe it's just the joint on this body that's a little awkward. All right, that's how he looks with the other head. Yeah, not the best choice. And this, I imagine, will be even more top-heavy and awkward. That won't fit. I can't get it on. It won't go. See, that pops right in. How about put this one back then? All right. That didn't want to go on very easily. Okay, so we'll get him posed and run over some final thoughts. And we are back with Golden Dog from our Damtoys Death Gas Station series. Not really quite posed because, quite frankly, there's not very much I can do with him. Same problems that I had with Old Bone. Just a really fragile figure that I'm afraid to pose, quite frankly. I'm afraid I'm going to break this thing up in my hands. And I'm not rough with figures. You know, I generally deal with a lot of vintage stuff. As you can see, if you've been watching, you know where I am and what I have here. You've got to have a gentle hand, especially dealing with loose stuff. This feels very cheaply constructed. And changing out hands, I didn't want to change the other hand out, getting that peg in and out. It falls out of the forearm, but then the wrist joint doesn't want to come out of the hands, doesn't want to go back into the hands. You saw the trouble I had with the heads. He's just difficult to work with. He looks okay. Actually, now that I have him in hand, his body looks more awkward than it did when I initially looked at it in the pictures that were provided by Damtoys. I'm not very happy with this one. I wasn't happy with Old Bone, and I'm not happy with this one either. It might work out well for action figure photography if you like to do that kind of stuff. If you have this or you're ordering this or thinking about it, just be very careful with it. Be very careful with it. It is very thin, very fragile, very lightweight. You saw how thin the body and forearms and calves and everything were on this figure. Expect a lot of that. Be careful with it. That's my overall impression. Again, he looks okay, but where I'm concerned, looking okay just isn't enough. I expect more out of it, especially for as much as adult collectors are paying for this stuff. Really. I don't even think I want to display this one. I think I'm going to put it back in the box, and I'll have to think about what to do with it next. And I have done that. I do like 12 scale figures. I've got a lot of them, and I've actually thinned out my Mezcos quite a bit in the last few months. I got rid of a bunch of them because I took another look at them and I was like, do I really want this? Because Mezco is very hit or miss. Sometimes they knock it out of the park, the most recent one being their Conan, and sometimes you get the figure and you're like, what the hell is this? And right now I'm having a what the hell is this moment with Damtoys. I don't have any more on pre-order, and I'm not fit to get any more. I think with these two, I've seen enough. I know a lot of people like their soldiers. I don't have any. So I really can't say anything about the soldiers. Maybe they are a better quality. I've heard that they are, but I have not handled one. Anyway, thoughts, impressions? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you got anything out of it. Impressions, do you think I'm too critical? It's okay. You know, it's all a matter of opinion. You could have this and think it's fantastic, and that's fine. I just don't happen to think so personally. Share the video if you can. Subscribe if you're new, all that good stuff. Check out some of the other videos if you have not. I've done a lot of unboxings of modern figures here, 6th and 12th scale and otherwise. Most of what I do is vintage, though. Mostly we're a nostalgia channel, but I do unbox modern figures. And anyways, if that's it, then what more can I say? But thanks for watching, and we will see you again soon.